Good day from Mission Control in Houston and the International Space Station Flight Control Room. You are looking live on the right side of your screen at the Prashal module, the multi-hatched, multi-port node module that is attached to the multipurpose laboratory module, the Naoka, on the space-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. That is the port of call for the expected automated docking of the Soyuz MS-29 spacecraft just under 45 minutes from now to complete a 2-orbit, 3-hour journey for the next series of space travelers to occupy the international outpost. 2 hours and 23 minutes ago, at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan, NASA astronaut Anil Menon, along with Roscosmos cosmonauts Pyotr Dubrov and Kikina, lifted off atop a Soyuz 2.1A booster from Site 31 at the Baikonur Cosmodrome on an 8-minute, 46-second ride to its preliminary orbit. The spacecraft and the booster arced out to the northeast from the Central Asian Desert launch site, moving in great fashion, in perfect fashion. All 3 stages of the Soyuz booster operated normally. The first stage separated at the 2-minute mark, and the other stages of the booster propelled the Soyuz MS-29 spacecraft with its 3 occupants into its preliminary orbit. At third stage shutdown and spacecraft separation, 8 minutes and 46 seconds after launch, the solar arrays and navigational antennas were deployed on the Soyuz, and it began its chase to catch up with the International Space Station. We are expecting docking to the Prashal module about 44 minutes from now. At this point, the core's automated rendezvous system on Soyuz, that is the active system for today's rendezvous, and the passive system on the Russian segment of the station have been activated and checked out. They are in good shape. In the highly unlikely event that a problem would occur with the core's system, the Soyuz commander, Pyotr Dubrov, who is in the center seat of the descent module of the Soyuz spacecraft, would take over from the automatic flying of the Soyuz and take over manual control for the docking of the Soyuz to Prashal. However, at this point, all of the Soyuz systems are operating in perfect fashion. The crew is reported to be feeling well, and there's great anticipation aboard the International Space Station for the arrival of Menon, Dubrov, and Kikina that will complete this fast-track 3-hour journey that will expand the station's population temporarily from 7 to 10, setting the stage for a handover between arriving and departing Soyuz crews. Aboard the International Space Station, the Expedition 74 crew at the very top is Jessica Meir of NASA, along with NASA's Jack Hathaway, the European Space Agency's Sophie Adno, and on the far right, Andrei Fedyaev of Roscosmos. At the bottom is Sergei Kud-Sverchkov, who is the current Soyuz commander, NASA's Chris Williams, and Sergei Mikhayev. Those 3 at the bottom of your screen will be returning in the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft for a parachute-assisted landing on the steppe of Kazakhstan to complete their 8 months on board the International Space Station. Their return to Earth is scheduled for July 26th. You will be hearing a variety of conversations through the interpreters here in Mission Control as we look at a live view from a balcony camera at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov on the outskirts of Moscow. The Russian Mission Control Center in control of the flying of the Soyuz spacecraft, which is on an automated approach for its link up to the Prashal module. A series of so-called impulse burns have been conducted since the Soyuz arrived on orbit, initially to increase the altitude of the Soyuz to match that of the International Space Station, which is currently flying 260 statute miles over the South Pacific, moving from southwest to northeast in an orbit inclined 51.6 degrees to either side of the equator. We're in a current handover between satellites on the Tracking and Data Relay satellite system. We'll be reacquiring our downlink video from the station a short time from now. The Soyuz crew, particularly Dubrov, the Soyuz commander, reported a visual sighting at Tally-Ho on the International Space Station about 25 minutes ago. The Soyuz is rapidly closing in for a fly-around of the station that is scheduled to begin at about 21 minutes from now. This will be at a 15-degree angle that will precisely align the forward docking probe on the Soyuz MS-29 with the Prishal module's docking port. At final approach at contact and capture, which equivalates to docking, the Soyuz will be traveling at a glacial 1/10 of a meter per second for its ability to initiate the contact and capture, the probe retraction on the forward end of the Soyuz spacecraft, and eventually a hard mate that will lead to leak checks over the course of about an hour and a half or so, and the eventual opening of the hatches to allow the new arrivals, Menon, Dubrov, and Kikina, to float inside the Russian segment of the station and to be greeted by the Expedition 74 crew. There will be brief welcoming remarks for the newly arrived crew members as they begin an orientation session after a safety briefing and their beginning of an 8-month stay on the orbital outpost.
Anna, would you please check the water status? Right, it's decreasing, and
here in Mission Control in Houston, the Orbit 2 team of flight controllers is watching over operations on board the station itself, as well as working in concert with their Russian counterparts across the ocean at the Russian Mission Control Center. Today's activities have a distinct Artemis 3 flair to them. At the bottom of your screen is Flight Director Chris Dobbins. Seated to his right is the European Space Agency's Luca Parmitano, who recently was named as the pilot for the Artemis 3 mission next year. Down in Baikonur at the Cosmodrome, as part of the family escort contingent, is mission specialist Frank Rubio, who is also part of the Artemis 3 crew and will be flying with Parmitano, the Artemis 3 commander Randy Bresnik, and mission specialist Andre Douglas on that mission next year.
We are at the 6,900 range. 11 meters per second is the range rate. Copy.
We soon will be reaching the 5-kilometer distance mark. A series of these so-called impulse burns. They're very minor course correction burns by the thrusters on the Soyuz MS-29, which is flying under the call sign of Tigris, or Tigris, if you will. The crew patch for the Soyuz MS-29 is prominently displayed by a tiger. This represents Pyotr Dubrov's birthright. He was born near the Tigris River in Russia. He likes the tiger. That is the call sign that he has given himself for this flight, flying along with Anil Menon and Anna Kikina. Menon, of course, on his first flight into space, Dubrov and Kikina on their second flights into space. On the left side of your screen is one of the Ultraflex solar arrays on the Northrop Grumman Cygnus cargo craft that is mated to the Earth-facing port of the Unity module of the International Space Station. And in the middle of your screen is the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft that is attached to the Rosviet module. So you have a cargo ship, a return vehicle, and the docking port for this second Soyuz that is scheduled to link up to the International Space Station about 36 minutes from now. Again, the Prishal module on the upper right corner of your screen has multiple docking ports. The Soyuz will ease into the Prishal, which is mated to the Naoka multipurpose laboratory module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. The station is currently flying 260 miles above the Earth, approaching the west coast of South America. We'll be flying directly over the Andes Mountains just a short time from now.
The range is 5,500. 10.9 is the range rate. Copy.
And this view from an external television camera on the Soyuz MS-29, showing right in the middle of the crosshairs the International Space Station. Currently, the Soyuz is separated from the station by a distance of 5,000 meters, just under 5,000 meters. In the lower left-hand corner of your screen, at the very bottom, you'll see two values. The 4.845 kilometers represents the distance between Soyuz and the station, and the value right below it is the rate of closure, currently 8.8 meters per second. Again, as we mentioned earlier, that distance will close, is continuing to close second by second. The rate of closure will continue to diminish, especially during the Flyaround that will position the Soyuz for a precise alignment with its forward docking probe to the Prishal module docking port before the command is given for final approach. This entire operation is being conducted autonomously based on computer input on the onboard computers on the Soyuz MS-29. Seated in the descent module, the center section of the three-section Soyuz vehicle, the Soyuz commander in the center seat is Pyotr Dubrov. To his left is board engineer number 1, who is Anna Kikina of Roscosmos, and to Dubrov's right is NASA astronaut Anil Menon, serving as board engineer number 2.
And the current range is 4,010 meters, and range rate as 8.8. Copy.
We're about 13 minutes away from the initiation of the Flyaround. Again, this is designed to enable the Soyuz to reach a point, a very, very brief point of station keeping, where essentially they put the brakes on, enabling the flight controllers of the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov to assess the precise alignment of the forward docking probe with the Prishal module docking port, which is the port of call for the arrival of the Soyuz MS-29 and 3 new crew members for their residence aboard the International Space Station.
And 8.8 is the range rate. Copy. $3,500 is the range, 8.8 is the range rate. Copy.
All of the events since the launch of the Soyuz MS-29 vehicle, which occurred 2 hours and 36 minutes ago, all of the activities have gone as planned. No issues, all the systems operating in normal fashion. Once again, 8 minutes and 46 seconds after launch, at the point at which the Soyuz separated from the third or upper stage of the three-stage Soyuz 2.1A booster, the solar arrays and navigational antennas all deployed as planned normally, and the chase began on this traditional, what has now become a traditional two-orbit, 3-hour journey from the launch pad at Baikonur to arrive for a docking to the International Space Station. The two-orbit rendezvous is something that has been incorporated for the past several years to try to expedite arrival of crew members to the International Space Station. In the old days, it used to be a 2-day rendezvous, and the capability still exists to default to a 2-day rendezvous should a technical issue require that to occur following launch. However, as has been the case, and in the case of today's activities, the two-orbit rendezvous was declared operational and in play a short time after the Soyuz arrived in its preliminary orbit, with all of its systems operating in excellent fashion.
Confirmed, the target moved up and to the right. Copy. Range is 2,470. 8.8 is the range rate. And please use format or display and monitor control on the input panel. Copy. We are monitoring the KDU parameters. Combined GSO is confirmed. GSO 1, 2, 3, and 4. SKD thrust at 2026-49 is confirmed.
The so-called impulse 4 burn is underway using the main engine on the Soyuz. This is about a 16-second burn. We're about 2,000 meters away from the International Space Station at this point. Within the next couple of minutes, Flight Director Chris Dobbins here in Mission Control will poll his team of flight controllers for a go, no-go for docking. As you now have a better view at the top of your screen of the Prishal module to which the MS-29 will link up to in about 28.5 minutes. And, of course, it is attached to the Naoka Multipurpose Laboratory module. The International Space Station is currently traveling over Uruguay, about to move from southwest to northeast into southern Brazil.
We see it in the right window. And we see the ISS on
and there's our first view of the Soyuz MS-29. A very good view of the thruster firings on these impulse burns, mid-course correction burns, to fine-tune the Soyuz's approach for its docking to the Prishal module.
With the retrograde maneuver. Range is 1,600. 4.2 is the range rate. So the course data is just as predicted.
Можно с КСП, ну либо с формата СССР. А можно с СССР.
And verify what you see on the display. You can use the AGC mode, working with the AGC mode, and we can leave it as is for now. So 4.1 is the range rate, 1.3 is the range.
If you're just tuning in, you're looking at a view of the Soyuz MS-29 spacecraft closing in for a docking to the International Space Station about 26 minutes from now. The port of call for the Soyuz and its 3 occupants is the Prishal module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. On board, the Soyuz commander, Roscosmos cosmonaut Pyotr Dubrov, along with Roscosmos cosmonaut Kikina and NASA astronaut Anil Menon.
Дальность 1140, 3.8 на сближение.
Range is 1140, range rate is 3.8.
And as you can hear, we're closing in on about the 1,000-meter mark, separating the Soyuz from the station. At the point at which the fly-around of the station begins, about 5.5 minutes from now, the Soyuz will have closed to within 400 meters. The fly-around angle is 54.5 degrees to precisely align the forward docking probe on the Soyuz with the Prishal docking port.
Дальность 1000 метров.
Range is 1,000 meters. I have 3.0 as range rate. Depot thrusters are firing.
And now inside 1,000 meters, closing at 2.7 meters per second. A view from the external television camera on the Soyuz of the International Space Station. The 5th in the series of impulse burns using the Soyuz thrusters being conducted. This burn is about 74 seconds in duration.
Дальность 850,
850 is the range, 2.3 is the range rate. Copy.
Погасла работа ДПО, завершилась отработка тормозного импульса.
Retrograde maneuver is complete. We have 2.3 as the range rate and 780 as the range. Copy.
So far, all of the mid-course correction burns have been executed as planned per the timeline. No issues. Again, this view now from cameras on the International Space Station of the approaching Soyuz vehicle. We're about 700 meters away.
700 is the range, 245, 2.45 is the range rate.
2.45 representing the rate of closure between the Soyuz and the International Space Station. Again, at the time of contact and capture, at docking, less than 23 minutes from now, the Soyuz will be traveling at just 1/10 of a meter per second for its initial contact with the docking port. At that point, the relative motion of the two vehicles at the docking interface will be allowed to dampen out against one another before the forward docking probe begins to retract to bring the two docking interfaces flush against one another and initiate the closing of the hooks for a hard mate.
600, 1.65 is the range rate. Copy.
The International Space Station and the Soyuz flying over the northeast portion of Brazil, about to move across into the Atlantic Ocean. Again, everything being conducted autonomously aboard the Soyuz as it continues its fast-track approach for a docking to the Prishal module, docking now just 21.5 minutes away.
I think the view is good. Second level of AGC mode is commanded. I think this is better.
Принято. Спасибо.
Let's leave it like this. Copy. Thank you.
Дальность
485 is the range. 156 is the range rate.
Принято. Ожидаем облет до страницы 53.
Copy. Standing by for Flyaround per page 53. I confirm we will proceed with page 53 once the Flyaround starts. 440, 140.
And as you watch this view from the external television camera with the engineering data overlaid from the Soyuz MS-29, we're inside a minute from the initiation of the Flyaround by the Soyuz to precisely align itself with the Prishal module. And again, this view of the Soyuz as it and the International Space Station pass off the northeast coast of Brazil over the Atlantic Ocean. And Flyaround has now been initiated.
390, 152.
This Flyaround is at an angle of about 54.5 degrees. It will take just about 6 minutes to complete before the Soyuz puts the brakes on, comes to a halt on automated command to enable a few seconds worth of station keeping and one final look by the flight controllers at the Russian Mission Control Center in Korolyov to ensure that they're happy with the alignment of the Soyuz to the Prishal module. At that point, the Soyuz will be at a range of almost 200 meters away.
With the Flyaround velocity profile. I can see the station on the periscope, RS node, docking port. Copy. 330.75 is the range rate. Copy.
метров.
300 is the range. 0.67 is the range rate.
Принято.
Copy.
Just a few minutes now before the Soyuz begins its brief, very brief station-keeping period.
63 is the range rate.
The Soyuz commander, Pyotr Dubrov, continuing to provide systems updates for the Russian flight control team outside of Moscow.
280.59 is the range rate.
Принято.
Дальность 260, 049.
260.49 is the range rate. Copy.
Гол пеленга 25 градусов.
25 degrees is the Pelling angle.
Дальность
250 is the range. 0.4 is the range rate.
250 meters separating Soyuz from Prishal. Good range rate and rate of closure.
240 метров, 0,38 на сближение.
240 meters, 0.38 is the range rate. Copy.
Контролируйте К-15 загорание.
Unintelligible.
Again, looking at the values on the lower left-hand portion of your screen, 230 meters separating the Soyuz from the Prishal module, closing at a rate of 0.25 meters per second.
We are in 15 degrees zone. K-15 is not lit.
Принято.
Copy.
Есть захват на курсе
We
1.
have acquisition on course 1. 211 is the range for course hardware.
Есть причал на курсе 1.
I have approach on course 1.
And we have a report of a good lock-on between the Soyuz and the Corps' automated rendezvous system on the Russian segment of the station.
К-15 пока не горит.
K-15 is not lit.
К-15 загорелся, 20:40-59.
I have K-15 indicator lit. Copy.
Можем подсветку ВСК включить.
Выполняйте разворот по крену.
We have roll maneuver ongoing.
Включаем подсветку ВСК.
Copy will activate periscope backlighting.
20:41 до 17.
2041 backlighting is on. Copy.
Так, ну и фару С-17.
And the headlamp
Принято, есть разрешение на включение фары.
Copy. We have a go to activate headlight S17. Commanding 2041 headlight is activated. Copy.
Продолжается разворот по крену.
Continuing the roll maneuver.
201.
201 is the range. Range rate 0.12.
Есть зависание в конусе
We
2042.
have station keeping at 2042.
Принято, есть завкон.
Copy. Station keeping.
Дальность 190.
198.
На выдачу причал. Формат
You have a
движения.
go to command approach.
Принято, есть разрешение на
Copy.
выдачу.
We have a go to command approach.
2042.
204240. I commanded approach.
Принято.
Есть причал.
We have
Есть специальный
approach. Depot thruster firing.
With Flyaround having been completed, the Russian flight control team immediately happy with the angle
Дальность 192.
and the location of the Soyuz relative to the Prishal module, so final approach is underway. Docking is scheduled about 13 minutes from now. Everything continuing to go very smoothly. It has been 2 hours, 55 minutes, 41 seconds since launch. And from the launch pad at Baikonur, the Soyuz is in the home stretch of its trip to the International Space Station, where Anil Menon of NASA and Roscosmos cosmonauts Pyotr Dubrov and Kikina will spend the next 8 months.
We can't adjust it right now. Copy.
Игрицы, просьба ТВ больше выдать. Развернуть экран.
Принял.
The Soyuz and the station, now approaching the west coast of Africa, will fly directly over the Western Sahara and Morocco, moving from southwest to northeast at an altitude of 260 statute miles.
77 is the range rate. Copy.
Спасибо.
130 meters, 0.71 is the range rate. Docking port is near the center of the periscope.
Дальность 110 метров, 0,57 на сближение.
110 meters, 0.57 is the range
Once
rate.
again, you're looking right down the barrel of the Prishal module. 104 meters separating Soyuz and Prishal, closing at a rate of 0.5 meters per second.
Copy. 100 meters, 0.57 is the range rate.
Девяносто
90 meters.
0,45.
0.45 is the range rate.
Мишень около центра ВСК.
Target is near the center of the periscope. Copy.
Дальность 77, 0,36 на
77 is the range, 0.36 is the range rate.
Мишень приблизительно 1 градус ниже
Target
центра.
is 1 degree lower from the center.
Принято.
Copy.
70
70
метров.
meters.
Соответствует угловым размерам стыковочного узла.
The docking port dimensions are in accordance with expectations.
65 метров,
65 meters, 0.28 is the range rate. Target is near the center.
Принято.
50 метров,
50 meters, 0.2 is the range rate.
Соответствует угловым размерам стыковочного узла.
Angular dimensions of the docking port are in accordance with expectations.
Ожидаем ССО ПГТ.
The flight controllers in Korolyov very happy with the alignment of the Soyuz and the Prishal module.
Extended.
Soyuz and the International Space Station flying almost directly over Casablanca.
Docking system readiness. Copy.
40 метров,
40 meters, 0.18 is the range rate.
1 градус левее центра ВСК.
The target is 1 degree to the left from the periscope.
Three hours now into the flight of Soyuz.
35 meters, 0.13 is the range rate.
Just 35 meters away now from docking.
Принято.
Copy.
Угловой размер 2 клетки.
Angular dimension is 2 cells. That's for the docking port, and the target is near the center of the periscope. Copy.
Небольшое расхождение крестов по тангажу, порысканию.
I have a little bit of misalignment in the roll on the target cross. 0.13 is the range rate.
метров.
25 meters, 0.13 is the range rate.
Принято.
Copy.
$22
22 meters, 0.13 is the range rate.
The Soyuz passing behind one of the Ultraflex solar arrays on the Northrop Grumman Cygnus cargo craft.
I have SSL PGT instruction. Copy. The target is half a degree lower from the center of the periscope.
Принято.
Copy.
Дальность.
Range 20.11 is the range rate.
Угловой размер скобочного узла чуть больше 3 клеток.
Docking mechanism size is a little bit over 3 cells. That's as expected. Target is near the center of the periscope.
Итак, местность 0.11.
15 meters, 0.11 is the range rate.
Поправка. 18.
Correction, 18 meters.
Принято.
Copy.
Кресты собраны.
We're just moments away from the docking of the Soyuz MS-29 to the Prishal module, everything continuing to go well with this automated approach of the Soyuz for its destination on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. Its parking place will be right next to the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft that is docked to the Roscosmos module.
The target crosses are aligned.
Мишень в центре ВСК.
Target is in the center of the periscope.
Угловой размер мишени 2 клетки.
Target size is 2 cells.
Кресты собраны.
Target crosses are aligned.
Правее центра ВСК.
Target is half a degree to the right from the periscope center.
8 метров.
8 meters.
Just 8 meters now separating Soyuz and Prishal.
The center, copy.
Perfect alignment reported by the flight controllers in Korolyov as we stand by for contact and capture of the International Space Station.
5 метров.
5 meters.
Ожидаем касания.
Waiting for contact.
Кресты собраны, мишень в центре.
Target is in the center.
Есть подводка.
Contact confirmed.
We have contact, docking ring request.
Capture confirmed.
Copy.
At 12:52 p.m. Central Time, 1:52 p.m. Eastern Time, Soyuz has reached the International Space Station after a flight of 3 hours and 4 minutes in duration.
Let's switch to SSVP.
Docking occurring over the Mediterranean
That's docking
at an altitude of 260 statute miles.
Давай проконтролируем параметры шар-баллона.
Anya, let's monitor spherical tank pressure. Prop 507. Copy. Spherical tank 1, 151. Spherical tank 2, 181.
Once again, the Soyuz MS-29 has reached its port of call at the Prishal module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the station. Contact and capture docking occurring at 12:52 p.m. Central Time, 1:52 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 hours.
Так, далее ожидаем погасания.
Next, standing by
3 hours and 4 minutes after its launch from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. The forward docking probe has retracted and hooks are now driving.
Command R7.
The relative motion between the two vehicles dampening out. The hard mate will be initiated between the two vehicles at the docking interface at the point at which the hooks will be closed on both sides of the docking interface. That will initiate a period of leak checks on both sides, the Soyuz side by cosmonauts Pyotr Dubrov and Kikina, with Anil Menon contributing his expertise to that procedure. And on the Soyuz side, Sergei Sverchkov, the station commander, along with Sergei Mikheyev, will be looking at their procedures as they initiate the leak checks on the station side of the docking interface that will lead to a hatch opening that is scheduled at around 3 p.m. Central Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Time.
Is the SR pressure, ball pressure 800, instrument area pressure 884. Copy. Next measurement in 5 minutes. Copy.
Это ТВС. На инпут 2 можно выдать фотку ТВ.
You go to command TV system deactivation. Say again.
Input 2 откол ТВС формата ТВС.
Yes, deactivate video system on input 2. Copy. Deactivating TV system.
Так, 20:55:57 выдал ТВ откол.
I commanded video system deactivation at 20:55.
Принято.
Copy.
Так, через 5:20 после сцепки, поскольку стыкуемся к УМу, выдам С-13.
After soft dock, I will
Да, ориентировочно на 57:40.
at
Да, принято.
57:40. Approximately. Yes, copy.
The visiting vehicle officer here in Mission Control reports the Soyuz hooks continue to drive into their closed position. So we'll be standing by for the confirmation of a hard mate. Once the Soyuz hooks are closed, that will trigger the closure of the hooks on the Prishal module side of the docking interface.
Moscow Station on Spaceground 1 for TV system deactivation.
Tigrises,
Spaceground 1.
let's command S-13.
Hail. The crew
Copy.
has deactivated.
Commanding S-13.
And I
Electrical connector mating. First command 5745. Yes, we have electrical connector mating indicator lit. And then let's do this again. 20:58:00, second command.
And we have confirmation that the Soyuz hooks are closed, now standing by for the closure of the hooks on the Prishal side.
D15 is lit. D17 is not lit. I have latches extended, indicator not lit. That's
the
D13.
entire
Copy.
rendezvous from launch at Baikonur to the arrival of the Soyuz MS-29 to the station was conducted uneventfully. All of the systems operated in perfect fashion, autonomously, as Pyotr Dubrov in the center seat of the descent module as the Soyuz commander, flanked to his left by Anna Kikina and to his right by NASA astronaut Anil Menon, contributed to the arrival at the International Space Station, and now soon will begin leak checks on their side of the docking interface, as will the cosmonauts on the space station side of the docking interface, which will set the stage for the hatch opening and the greetings between the resident Expedition 74 crew and the new arrivals, soon to have 10 people aboard the International Space Station for a period of 12 days.
Latches retracted, indicator is lit. Copy, that's G17.
Ожидаем загорания D11.
Standing by for D11 indicator. That's a docking mechanism probe retracted. Copy.
Пятиминутный замер ОКГ. Давление ВСА 780. Дельта минус 1.
Next measurement, SR pressure 780, PO 799, and PO 884, delta 0. Copy.
Next measurement is going to be at 20-minute mark. D11 is illuminated. The probe is retracted. And what about the SSVP docking internal transfer system mode? Is it illuminated? No, not yet. And now the SSVP mode is illuminated. I am sending D8 command.
21:01:07.
Power for SSVP is no longer illuminated. Probe retraction is no longer illuminated. SSVP mode is complete and is no longer illuminated.
Принято.
This is Mission Control Houston.
And
The Soyuz MS-29 spacecraft is home at the International Space Station. All of the hooks are now closed on both sides of the docking interface. First, the Soyuz hooks closed following docking, which occurred at 12:52 p.m. Central Time, 1:52 p.m. Eastern Time, over the Mediterranean at an altitude of 260 statute miles. Once the Soyuz hooks were closed, the Prashal module hooks then closed, forming a hard mate between the two spacecraft. Now we'll begin a period of about an hour and a half or so for the leak checks at the docking interface by the Soyuz crew on their side and the space station crew on their side of the docking interface before the hatches are open.
Really fast.
Не успели оглянуться, а мы уже...
We didn't even realize it. And there we are. And everything's nominal. Thank you so much. We even managed to drink some juice and eat the fruit bars. Greetings, Baikonur. I read you loud and clear. This is Anil. Thank you so much to everyone who's been supporting us, who is making it all possible for us.
Congratulations, crew, on a impressive 3-hour rejoin. And to my friend Anil, how are you enjoying spaceflight?
Hello, it's great to hear from you, and incredibly fast ride. I'm feeling great, and I'm excited to speak with you. And
We've had a brief loss of signal. What you heard were the Russian members of the...
Yes, we do, and we didn't hear anything before that.
Came in broken there, but I know you all have a lot of work to do right now, so just passing on to you.
ISS MCC Moscow and Spacecraft 1 for Sergei.
Your friends here, your family, your nations are very proud of you. Godspeed and God bless on your expedition ahead.
Thank you very much for those kind words. The station is a sight to behold and a monument to all the hard work that we are able to do together and what we're able to achieve when we do it.
Петр Валерьевич, Анна Юрьевна, Анил, успехов, мы с вами.
Anna,
Держим
Anil,
за вас кулаки,
good
удачной
luck.
работы.
We're crossing our fingers for you guys.
Спасибо огромное.
Thank you. Thank you.
Добрый вечер уже.
Greetings, guys. Good evening.
Всей команды, которая здесь
Congratulations
работала с вами, переживала за вас.
to you from our whole team,
И желаем вам счастливого продолжения полета.
and wish you good luck and a great expedition. Baikonur, thank you so much.
Помехами, но нам очень
It's
приятно
a
получить
pleasure to
от вас
hear
такие теплые слова
words
поддержки.
of
Спасибо.
encouragement from you. Thank you. Thank you.
Спасибо.
Штатная работа вам.
I'm just wishing you nominal up.
Спасибо большое.
Thank you.
This is Mission Control Houston. What you heard over the past couple of minutes were congratulatory calls from members of the Russian State Commission, including the Roscosmos Director General Dmitry Baikonur, from a hotel in Baikonur where the launch occurred just over 3 hours ago, and congratulatory words to Anil Menon of NASA from NASA Administrator Jared Isaacman. So the crew now will press ahead to conduct leak checks on both sides of the docking interface, on the Soyuz side and on the station side, before the opening of the hatch from the Soyuz as well as from the Prishal module, to allow the new arrivals, Pyotr, Dubrov, Anna, Kikina, and Anil Menon, to float into the space station to begin their 8 months of occupancy. It was a flawless rendezvous and docking by the Soyuz MS-29, docking occurring at 12:52 p.m. Central Time, 1:52 p.m. Eastern Time. We will be back with hatch opening and welcoming remarks coverage on NASA Plus and YouTube and our other platforms, with coverage beginning at 2:30 p.m. Central, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That'll be just about an hour and 23 minutes from now. For now, Soyuz safely home at the International Space Station. We'll see you soon for hatch opening and welcoming remarks coverage. This is Mission Control Houston.